Alright folks, this evening what I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to refuel your propane tanks. Now you can either use one like this. I don't have one of the green ones laying around here handy, but you can use, you know, the wider in diameter green ones if you'd like. But what you're going to need is your tank, a big propane tank, which is going to be the source of your fuel, what you're going to be refueling your little tank with, and one of these adapter pieces. Now they make these in several different kind of ways. Some of them's got little plastic grips on them that you can screw right in, which I like, but I gave one of those to my buddy. Ended up getting this one here for about 20 bucks down at the hardware store. This is the key ingredient right here. It's what you have to have. And I'm going to need a set of these for putting the adapter piece onto the actual tank. But let's get upstairs and we'll get to the first step of the process here. Alright, here we are back upstairs now, and we got our tank. There's no it's completely empty. I'll take the head off of it. Torch head. Set it aside somewhere. Now we just got the tank. And we're going to put this into the freezer for about 20 minutes. Let it get real good and ice cold. Then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so it's been about 20-25 minutes. And now we're going to take the propane tank, which is good and cold now, out of the freezer. We're going to head back downstairs to grab the big tank. Alright folks, I'll have to set you up right there real quick while I do this. It's a pretty cramped space. I'm in my basement, which I'm currently digging out right now, filling my backyard in with. But now we got the can good and cold. It's real important you get the can good and cold. We're going to put, and I'll explain that in a minute. We'll put our adapter piece in. Make sure your big can's to the off position. Put our adapter piece in. And these are reverse threads. So it actually threads in lefty tighty, righty loosey, which is pretty much the opposite of everything else you'll encounter in life. It's just the way this here is. But you get it in there good and tight. Now we're going to take our can while it's still real good and cold. We're going to screw it in. Now she's in there good and tight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. And once we get it upside down, we're going to turn it on. And you can hear it. You're going to be very careful with it at this point. It's when it's at its most dangerous. You can hear it. Filling up in that. And guys, don't do what I'm doing and do this in an enclosed space. Do it outside where there's plenty of fresh air, but you'll see why here in just a minute whenever I go to take it off. As you can see, it's on down there. Sorry about the views. It's the best thing I can do for you right now. Alright, so it stopped filling. I know because I can hear it. You want to very carefully flip it upright. Turn this to the off position again. Make sure my camera's still getting what I'm doing here. Alright, now we're going to unscrew it after we get this close to the off position. We're going to do this fast because you'll see why I'm going to do it fast. Did you hear it start spraying out just a little bit there? And that's one of the more dangerous times too, because if you create a spark while you're unscrewing that, and that spews out of there like it just did, well, you pretty much know what's going to happen. There's been several people blow themselves up doing this. I'm not really sure how they did. Of course, I haven't done it myself yet, so that's probably why I don't know how they've done it yet. But anyway, put the head back on, turn it to the off position. Let's go outside because I smell gas, where we just unscrewed that. And I could tell it's about 3/4 of the way filled up. If I would have let it get colder, longer in the freezer, but this is just for demonstration purposes. But if I'd let it sit for another 10 minutes or so and get real good ice cold, it would have filled it all the way up. But I'll meet you outside to show you. We'll just walk over here now. As you can see, she's full again. Now, just go over a few things. Don't do what I just did and do this in an enclosed environment. For one, I have had it get stuck before when I was unscrewing it, and it would be spewing while it was stuck in there. And if you're in a closed environment like this, it's not a good thing for many reasons. There's a lot of reasons why how that could go wrong. But another thing is, whenever I was taking it off, you don't really want to hold your hand right here close to this. That's the reason you want to go ahead and get this thing in here as tight as you can, good and snug. That way it's not loose wiggling around when you're unscrewing the other end, because you don't want to have to hold it here, because when it does start spraying, that liquid that comes out is ice cold, and I mean, it'll freeze your hand completely solid. It'll give you frostbite in a matter of seconds. Do it outside in a ventilated area. Be very careful when you're flipping it upside down and then right side up again, not to hit it off of anything. I've had very minimal problems doing this myself, but I've heard horror stories on it, and they say it could be very dangerous. I find it very handy to be able to refill these little tanks, and it's so much cheaper rather than to buy these for $6-7. They're getting outrageous now, $6-7 a piece, when you could buy one of these with an exchange for $22 and refill that. Well, you just do the math on it yourself. You could refill it a lot of times, so you're saving a lot of money, but there is a danger factor involved. So I may be leaving out a couple other safety tips. This is for educational purposes only. I don't recommend anyone do this at home themselves, and if they do it with under their own risks. Now, I was going to explain to you why it's important to get this tank here really cold. The colder this tank is, the more this fuel is prone to go into it. Now, there's some science there involved, and I'm not quite sure, or educated on the subject enough to know why it does that. But for some reason, this propane is almost attracted like a magnet to this cylinder when it's cold. So the colder you get this, the better transfer you're going to have. Oh yeah, the flipping it upside down part. If you don't flip it upside down when you refill it, all you're going to get is fumes. It's just going to fill it up with nothing but fumes, and you're not going to get any solid liquid in it. It's just going to fill it up with pressure, a little bit of fumes. It'll last like maybe 3 minutes, and then it'll be empty again. Plus, you don't want to do that with your can, because what happens is all the pressure, the gas that's making the pressure, you'll deplete it, and then what you'll have is a whole bunch of gas in this can that now you can't use, because it won't come out. Trust me, I've been there, done that. But yeah, that's the only two things I was going to add. But hope this helps some of you guys out. Peace.